not an official city council meeting. This is a forum with the mayor and the city manager to answer any questions and concerns that you may have. I know there's some issues coming up in the city, but let's remind everybody that we have a great city. We have a beautiful city that's prospering and doing very well. Regardless of any issues that we may have, let's remind each other that we're all together as a team. We all see each other at Walmart. We all see each other at HEB. Let's work together as brothers and sisters of Christ and believers of this city. With that, I'm going to start off with some of the great things that are happening here in Floresville. We'll talk about several topics, and then we'll stop at a point where we say we'll have some questions and answers, and then I'll turn it over to our city manager to talk about some of the projects that are coming up. One of the things I'm very, very proud about here in Floresville is our tax rate. People always talk about, oh, we don't want to pay taxes. We don't want to pay taxes. I'm a single parent. I don't want to pay any more taxes than I have to. I live in a modest home, so it's important for me as a parent, with a daughter at college, to keep our taxes very low. Because I empathize with all the taxpayers. Floresville should be very proud of our tax rate of 32 cents per hundred. That means that for a city our size, it's one of the lowest in the state of Texas. We should be very, very proud of that. We haven't raised taxes since 1999. In comparison to other cities around the area, cities similar to Floresville, and we pulled this off some public information. In Poth, which is much smaller than Floresville, the rate is 28 cents. We have, I believe, 15 or 16 police officers over here. They may have one or two. We have an ongoing street program. There's a huge difference between our city and other cities that are in the county. Stockdale, which is a smaller city than Floresville, has a rate higher than Floresville. They're at 34 cents. Pleasanton, 30 miles away, they're at 49 cents. Reminding everybody that we're at 32 cents. Seguin is at 50 cents. Leon Valley at 54 cents. So I think that's something we could all be proud of, that we have maintained our taxes at a very, very low rate. Which means we have to be very conservative in our spending. Very, very conservative. We have very little money coming in, so we have to have a tight budget. The next thing I want to talk about is our water rates. Our water rates are super, super cheap in comparison to other cities of our size. Our rate for water is $13.50 for 3,000 gallons. $13.50. In Poth, for 3,000 gallons, it's $20.54. And they're proposing to go up to $23.54. In Livonia, for residential, at 2,000 gallons, it's $16.79. Stockdale, for a resident, it's $20 for 3,000 gallons. Again, ours is $13.50. Oak Hills water is $24 for 1,000 gallons. Sunco is at $23.30. It's important for us to realize, we might say, okay, everything is so bad here in Floresville, but actually we're very, very cheap. We're very, very low in our cost of providing services to Floresville. So how do we do that? How are we doing that? How are we maintaining, a $6 million budget without ever raising taxes? say that we are very, very dependent on the business community here in Floresville. We rely so much on new businesses coming in. And by keeping our taxes so low, by keeping our infrastructure costs so low, people want to locate to Floresville. Not only because of our cost, but the quality of life that we're offering to our residents. We have a high school that, to my knowledge, is the only city in the state of Texas that actually has a college campus at its location. Other high schools offer college courses. We actually have a campus. So we should be very proud of that. For those who don't know, that was actually an EDC initiative. We started that here at City Hall to bring a college here in Floresville. We were getting so many requests from our governor, or bids from our governor that says this company wants to locate in South Texas. But they need so many requirements. They need a school, they need railway, they need so many things. So one thing we could go after was a school. So we're very proud that we have an actual college campus here in Floresville, Texas. In the year 2008 to so far in 2012, we've had 45 new businesses come into Floresville. Most of those are paying sales tax, which are contributing to the overall fund to help maintain our streets, maintain our economic development, maintain our civic center, and part of our general budget here in Floresville. This is all verifiable information. Floresville Electric Light and Power System sent information that we've had 66 new meters this past year. 66 new businesses and residents choosing to live here in Floresville and set up their shop here in Floresville. People are wanting to live and do business here in Floresville. Why? It's not because of some negativity happening, because it's the positive things that are happening here in Floresville. We have a great community. Let's all come together and realize that. I'm 51 years old. I've lived here all my life. Born here in the Floresville Hospital. Went to high school here. Got married here. Got divorced here. And I'll be buried here. My parents are from Floresville. My grandparents are from Floresville. Margaret, do we have any questions so far?
If anybody has any questions, just please raise your card.
This is where the cards need to come up.
That's fine. Any questions? I'll answer any questions. Yes, ma'am. The sewage rate, Andy, do you have any comparisons on the sewage rate?
Not on hand, Mayor, but we'd have to check with you on your sewer rate because ours is pretty low.
That includes the trash. That's the trash also. One question is, how are curbing and paving projects selected? Most of the curbing projects are selected by the homeowner, and they're actually paying for the curbing at their residence. Andy, am I correct in saying that the curbing is done by request by the homeowner, pays for the homeowner? I'm saying that because I also requested curbing in my house, but you had to have so many residents agree to that. But there's a fee per resident.
If I can assist you. My name is Andy Jocelyn. I'm the city manager for you, ladies and gentlemen that do not know who I am. I'm not from Floresville. I've been here a decade already. And the 10 years that I've been here, I've served the city of Floresville as a task force commander, as the assistant chief of police, and now the city manager, which is a job that I extremely am passionate about. So to follow up on the mayor's question about the road projects, prior to me getting here, there had been a 10-year road master plan in place, which we are currently working with a new engineering firm, M&S Engineering, that is going to help us do an overall comprehensive plan to include water, sewer, streets, and parks, and other areas that weren't in place. So what we've got improve the whole road and the curbing. If the street is not up for a total construction, to offset the cost, there had been a owner participation to pay for the curbing. Once the curbing was done, our street department in-house would come in and pave the portion up to where the new curbing was done, and then we'd move forward. So I think we have continued that on a voluntary basis. If not, then when the street is up for paving, total reconstruction, then we include that in the cost. So with that participation, we've been able to do more paving than we had before. So.
Yes, sir.
A follow-up on that.
Yes, sir.
Is that the way South Second was handled from S Street to Trail Street, all that new curbing and paving?
That was a total reconstruction that had been started already, and that was paid through the street maintenance tax money.
Thank you.
Another question regarding the sewer department. The numbers reflecting that the plant is operating at 70% capacity. Do this cause any type of moratorium on future construction of businesses? We are, like Andy mentioned, we are reviewing our sewer plant capacity. That's a very important issue. It's been part of our issue since I was elected 6 years ago. As more and more businesses come into Floresville, we need to expand our sewer system. Just imagine the sewer system being at your own home. If more people come into your house, if you keep on adding bedrooms and bedrooms to your house, you're going to have to add bathrooms to accommodate the people. That's the same thing with the sewer system. We're at reaching capacity. We're looking at we've done a master plan a couple of years ago. We're updating that this year with M&S Engineering. We hope to have a plan sometime by midsummer for construction. So yes, that needs to be addressed. Otherwise, we'll be fined by TCEQ.
Just to add, if I can, Mayor, please. What we've done is we have just completed finally an upgrade of the existing wastewater treatment plant, which is something that needed to be done years ago. TCEQ requires us to have a 10-year plan on our wastewater treatment. They look at what needs to be upgraded. We've done an upgrade with a partial expansion preparation. The next step that we've got is M&S is doing a update on our wastewater master plan, and what TCEQ requires that once we get to a 75% for an extended period of time capacity, that we have plans prepared. It doesn't mean that the plant has to be, construction has to be started. The plans just have to be prepared and available for them to review, and that they know that we are looking at addressing the issue.
Mayor, you emphasize that the city relies on new businesses. At the rate of growth, will the city be able to keep up with utility demands? If we don't expand our infrastructure, our sewer plant, no, we will not be able to keep up with the demands of the city. Fortunately, we were able to expand the water and sewer operations or service on 181. Bringing together not only La Quinta Motel, but also to the north with Walmart. And again, thanks to FADC for putting that together. Is the city seen as a favorable place for business? Yes. I mean, that's without a doubt. Businesses are coming into Floresville. And this is prior to Eagle Ford. This is prior to Eagle Ford. Eagle Ford is adding to it. But ever since Toyota, the Brooks-based project, it was here on the south side, more and more people have moved into this Floresville area. They might be living outside of Floresville. They might be living in one of the subdivisions. But more businesses coming into the Floresville area, definitely. But luckily, we were prepared. Unlike other cities, unlike cities like Cotulla that were not prepared for the infrastructure. When the Eagle Ford project hit, we were prepared for the water and sewer demands. However, we do need to expand it. Do we have to hire a company to tell us what business to recruit to come here? We have worked with a company called the Retail Coach that tells us what markets, what business will suit our market. Yes, we do have worked with consultants to help us with that. Even though tax rates haven't gone up, aren't we collecting more tax dollars? Yes, we are collecting more tax dollars simply because of appraisals. the city council has rejected the appraisals in the last few years. We are the only, one of the few entities that has rejected the Wilson County Appraisal District. If you recall 2 or 3 years ago when the appraisal skyrocketed, 100%, I got together with Mayor Eckel and the Mayor of Stockdale and Lavernia to fight those appraisals. And because of that, there were some changes in the appraisal district. How do you explain a $5 million difference in the budget numbers for a 3-year time frame? If we know the budget numbers are faulty, why would we pursue sports conflicts? We still have to maintain the grounds. I'm not aware of a $5 million difference in the budget numbers. Did you want to address something about the budget?
This is an extremely important issue that's been brought up by a group of citizens within our community, which is a valid point. Coming in as a city manager, we've addressed many issues that hadn't been addressed before. We've finished the construction of our community center and refinanced the debt service so that we could enjoy that building, which is something that I believe everybody in this community has had an opportunity to go and visit and enjoy. A beautiful building which is added to the appeal of our community. One of the things that we're doing, and we want to make sure that the citizens understand that we're not just sitting back and saying, we're not listening to you, we don't care what you say. That's not at all what we're doing. As we know, every year the city gets audited by a certified public accountant. The audit report is presented January or February of each year in an open meeting to the council, which has to take action and approve that audit. Currently, we're working with Pat Wagner, who is a new auditing firm. The auditing firm that was here previously had been here for over 10 years or so. He retired. We went out for bids, got a new auditing firm. Pat Wagner is out of New Braunfels, Texas, has vast experience in municipal government. They are doing something that's normal to the city, to any city, and they conduct a yearly audit. In addition, we're asking them to expand the scope to address some of the issues that were brought up. In conjunction with Mrs. Wagner, we're working with our software provider, which was, of course, the mayor addressed that issue in a press release, to address needed updates on our software. The discrepancies that were brought up by the citizens that had concerns dated back to 08, 09, 09, and 10, I think 07, 08 previously. Those 3 years were years that this administration was not here. But you know what? That's our responsibility to review that and correct that and deal with that on a daily basis, which is something that we have been doing. Our finance director, our constituent liaison, our city secretary, everybody's pitched in to make sure that we get this addressed. Anybody that has any financial background understands that audits are not, one day to the next issues that are addressed. They take months to do a yearly audit that's a standard audit. Now, when we expand that scope, it takes them more time. Somebody asked me, Andy, why are you still here in Floresville? You're a subject of a lawsuit, and previous years you had to deal with other issues. And my answer to you specifically is that I love this community like you do, and I'm not leaving because there's a lot of work to be done, and that's what we're doing. We're not sitting on our hands. To conclude that, at the end of this tedious process, we're going to present the outcome at an open city council meeting. We'll make sure that is highlighted so that we get more participation, because as we know, if it's not election time or raising taxes, our attendance is pretty low at times because of the time of the week. Other people have other things to do. So we're going to make sure that we extend that to everybody to come see what the auditor finds during the audit process. And in addition, we're not prideful to say that we can't learn new things and that we won't implement new things to improve our city, because we're here to serve you. That's my answer.
That didn't answer the question. All that talk did not answer the and y'all couldn't find the mistake.
The mistake was there, the numbers were there. I think, and I'm gonna pick on my neighbor, Mr. David Strozer said, commented, why didn't you just change the numbers to what they needed to reflect on the audit? That's not my job to do, that's a certified public accountant. Once they do their books and that closes, you know, you can't touch that. It has to be reviewed, and that's the expanded scope that we've done. That's why we've had to get with Malcolm Gully, the previous auditor, and Pat Wagner, the new auditor, to clear that up now.
But I would expect you to be able to look at the numbers and say, hey, something doesn't add up, rather than wait for Mr. Miller to be insulted for 5 months and told us, sit down and shut up, before you finally say, oh, it's a software program. I'm sorry.
No, that's one of the issues that we have, and Mr. Miller has brought up a lot of issues, and we have sat with him, and we've discussed these issues, and we're gonna continue discussing these issues. We're not closing the door. And, if he's been insulted, that was not an intent of myself or the council, because we are professionals, but we do have to run a city, and if we wouldn't have adopted the budget, then the current budget that was in place would have been adopted regardless. One of the other issues that's gonna happen after the auditors bring their findings to the council, for the citizens to hear, if we do have to do a budget amendment, which is something that's done as normal practice, then we will do a budget amendment.
Can I add to that, Andy?
Yes, sir.
You know, dating back to August, we asked the questions about some of the historical numbers in the budget. In the mayor's press release, a revised budget worksheet was put together.
Yes, sir.
And I have a copy of that. And when we look at fiscal years 2007, 8, 2008, 9, 2009, 10, in this revised budget worksheet that was prepared by Ms. Wagner,
It was prepared, just real quick, and I will continue, you can continue, sir. That was prepared by our finance director. It was submitted to Malcolm Gully, who reviewed it, and then sent it off to our new auditor so she could review it, and then it was
well,
submitted.
in her report, and this was attached to her report.
Yes, sir.
And the mayor's press release reflects this as being accurate numbers. Now, when I compare these historical numbers to these historical numbers, it's $5.1 million in adjustments. That's a significant amount of adjustments. Some of them up, some of them down.
Yes, sir.
But none of these inaccurate numbers were used in projecting the budget. I'm confused. How did we project the budget without looking at the past? And if the past that we looked at was inaccurate, how do we project the future? And more importantly, why did it take us 5 months to even look at the numbers that were being challenged in the first place? Specifically when it came to revenues, the sales tax numbers that were inaccurately reported in the budget that was approved. Okay? Why did it take us 5 months? And back to Mr. Strozer's question, when we asked you in a city council meeting, here you have your audit, here you have your budget, here you have your new auditor's report. All three are saying different numbers, which are accurate. Both of you told us they are all three accurate. But now, here we are, January 7th, I have a press release from the mayor dated the 23rd that says, oops, we made a mistake, there was some inaccurate numbers. Why did it take us 5 months to get to this point?
Let me take the time. Go ahead, Mayor. Go ahead. What was that, sir?
The PR firm that you hired is now doing its job.
Well, we've hired that PR firm to market our city throughout the surrounding areas for everything that's going on. Jim, to answer that question, we've come up with numerous questions for myself. It started with the street maintenance tax, it led to the overall sales tax, it led to advertising of the tax rate and whatnot. We've had different questions from you at different times, and we've answered those. So at the times that you've asked, we've answered those questions. Let me answer another question. On the forecasting of the 2011-2012 budget, we used a historical Comptroller's Office for sales tax revenue. I visited with Jesse Perez with the Economic Development to see what was going on within our community. On the forecasting and estimating revenues from the budgeting manual for Texas cities, it says to make an accurate estimate of city revenues for the next fiscal year, the budget officer should have a working knowledge of the dynamics of local revenue resources and economic factors that can cause them to vary over time. Local economic, not national. And this is what was utilized to do the forecasting for those numbers. I've met with Jesse Perez, like I said. I looked at the Comptroller's Office. I looked at what is going on. You can see yourself the increased traffic and the increased amount of people and the increase in sales within our community. So that was what was utilized to do the forecasting for the 11-12 budget.
But none of that
And
data
what-
was presented.
But those are working documents. That is work that staff does behind the scenes before they present anything to the council.
Let me just add one thing to that. The discussion did happen for 5 months, but during our citizens' input, it's usually just a 1-minute discussion. We cannot answer, a budget that takes us months to prepare in 1 minute. We've invited Mr. Miller several times to meet with us regarding the budget. We welcome the opportunity to discuss it with anybody. The next question, if we know the budget numbers are faulty, why would we pursue a sports complex? For your information, we have, if you notice, we haven't really discussed the sports complex anymore. It's not a dead issue, but we haven't discussed it, and we're not going to discuss it until everything has been fixed or clarified, or whatever needs to be done. However, our sports complex is an addition to our city to attract more people, more visitors, more residents into Floresville. It adds to the quality of life of our residents. We haven't updated our parks in probably 30-plus years. And maybe the word sports complex scares some people. We're talking about, I've read in the paper that we're talking about a $15 million complex. It's not a $15 million complex. We're talking about adding some baseball fields and some football fields for a cost of about $2.5 million. So I know somebody said $15 million, but that's nowhere near it. We're not building an Alamo Dome or anything like that. We're building some football fields and baseball fields. In light of the fact that all of you have looked at the same, now proven incorrect numbers, and only Mr. Miller saw they were incorrect, explain how you feel are qualified to continue on the council. If you can't even check on your numbers. Ma'am or sir, whoever asked this question, I'm not a CPA. We have professional CPAs that handle our books. I'm not an attorney. We have attorneys that handle all that. We have engineers. We have all types of staff that give us recommendations and that review everything that we do prior to even us doing it, taking any type of action. So that's what makes me qualified. I've been elected by the people. Assuming the recall petition receives 500 signatures, what is the earliest date for an election? The earliest date would be sometime in May. What do you know the election date in May? Anybody?
I believe it's the 12th.
May 12th. I thought the election could take place for I guess this is a secondary question, take place for the March primary. No, that is incorrect. There's only 2 election dates in Texas, November and May. What happens if the recall election is successful? Is the entire council recalled? If the recall election is successful, that means the mayor, the city council are removed from office. There will not be a city council or city government in place until the next election. So if it would happen in May,
No.
That's not true.
that is absolutely true. That is absolutely There hasn't been any historical data that shows that a city will operate without a city council. Nowhere in Texas has that ever been done. We've been elected by the people. We will continue to be elected by the people. No judge will replace the council. That's any elected position is elected by the people of the community. Does a council member and mayor hold over until they're less a successor? No. Once the voting is clarified and certified here at a city council meeting, there will be no more city council. That'll be it. It's not, okay, I'm out, I'm gonna go appoint somebody else to replace me. That does not happen. The will of the people will speak. Okay, same question. Can a judge order 5 new councilmen and a mayor until the next city council election? No. That will not happen.
Mr. Mayor, I thought you said you weren't an attorney. And I also thought I heard you say there is no precedent one way or the other. I honestly believe that if a judge, if this council is recalled, okay, that no judge will allow this community to go without a government for 6 months. And if an appointed receiver is necessary, that may happen. Would a judge appoint a new mayor and a new city council? No, that is not the responsibility of the judicial system. But will the court system allow a city to run without a government for 6 months? Absolutely not. And there is no case law or precedent, as you said, to say otherwise.
Correct. That's right. It's never been done.
Which doesn't mean it couldn't be done.
Okay. In my opinion, I'm not an attorney, but the recall is saying malfeasance, incompetence, it says other things. Who has actually said the numbers are incorrect, or has there been a malfeasance? Malfeasance means there's some criminal activity going on. Who's actually said that besides a group of individuals here in Floresville? Nobody has ever said that. No judge, no jury has said that. So that's my opinion. You know.
The jury's still out.
Well,
And I'll applaud for that.
One of the things that I can add just real quick, I know that there was a Floresville Town Hall meeting held, and we had a good participation in there, which is good for the people. We live in a democratic society, so. The proposed agenda, it was stated, if the judge would grant a receiving government, would be to bring the building of a new sports complex to a halt, and to hire someone to go through the books and find exactly where the money is and how much they have. If the sports complex is at a halt right now, and we've got somebody going through the books that is gonna do a presentation, then if we're already accomplishing what the receiving government would do, then why move forward?
Well, I had to ask you this question. Where did you get the quotes? You weren't in the meeting.
No.
My words were not those, okay? My words were very specific to say that if a receiver government was put in place, that they would have a series of priorities. Priority 1 would be to stop any further spending on a sports complex. Okay? Priority 2 would be to hire a forensic auditor to go through the books, all of the books, and determine where the money is so that whatever government got elected would be starting fresh and anew. And thirdly, would be to separate the management of the economic development corporations, both the 4A and the 4B, to allow them to run as the law says they should run, as independent entities. Those were my statements. Now, if we want to quote Jim Miller in here,
I didn't say Jim Miller, I said the
in the meeting.
Floresville Town Hall meeting.
I understand, but if you're going to quote my words, okay, please.
so who runs the city until the next election? The the city would be run by the city manager. Which budget would it be? It would be the budget that was passed last year. But keep in mind what happens to appointments to the 4A, the 4B, Phelps. Phelps, keep in mind that the city of Floresville owns 2/3 of the company. So there's so many drastic changes would happen if there would be no city council.
Mayor, it's exactly 10 months till November election.
Yes.
Now, my age, that's not long.
Will you be able to help with this maintenance of the current baseball fields, erosion, fencing, etc.? Yes, our parks are always part of our budget. That's currently happened, and we're working with the San Antonio River Authority to look at the erosion problem so we can maintain the fields over there. There's one field, the larger field, that's actually, in a few years or a bad flood, it'll probably fall into the river. I'll turn it over the next part of the session to street projects and our sewer expansion, and then we'll have some more questions and answers. Margaret, you want to pick up any more questions in the meantime?
Jesse, could you please come up to the front and just give us a overview of our economic situation within the community? Something that the economic development's been working on for some time, and now with the Eagle Board in place. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you all for coming today. We've had a plan in place for the last 12 years. You know, back in the year 2000, we did an overview strategic plan for economic development. And what that plan did, it made in place a way for the city to grow into the future. Some of the things that we also did in that plan was to look at the strengths of the community, the weaknesses of the community, the opportunities that we have, and the threats to our continued economic development. And what we've been doing is looking at each of those factors and seeing how we can, if it's a strength, how can we improve that strength and make it better so that we can continue growing, attracting more businesses to Floresville, helping the businesses that are currently here, and then trying to see what other factors within economic development that we can look at to make the city grow better. The weaknesses are things that would hold us back or are holding us back in terms of economic development. The mayor and the city manager, some of the questions from the crowd talked about the infrastructure. You have to maintain a solid infrastructure. By that I mean the water system, the sewer, streets. You got to have a good police force. That's part of the infrastructure. Belts, being able to provide electrical energy as it's needed throughout the community. And then also, good phone lines, internet system nowadays. If you don't have good internet, you don't have the capability to hook people up to the internet, that can be a weakness. That's an area that it's super expensive to wire this whole community and to bring in fiber optics. So we're working at it, through different means, using Phelps provides internet service, the phone companies do that, and also the cable companies and satellite companies. The opportunities are things that we can look at to bring more businesses into town. What do we have here in Floresville that would make somebody want to bring their business here and continue growing or start a new venture? And one of the latest things that we worked with this young gentleman here, Robert Albert, bought up the old Bauman building, and several partners, and they're doing, they've got an antique mall in there. I encourage all of you to go once this meeting breaks up. They've got a great selection of different things, arts and crafts, antiques. But the point on that is, it's not solely to sell you arts and crafts and antiques, but it's to bring people into the city, more visitors, provide them things to do other than to come and sample our good food in all the restaurants that we have, but also to look at the things that are here in Floresville that would bring them into the city. And when I say we work with him, we basically assisted with some of the signage that he has. We help light up his building for Christmas. We're working on a plan, and it's something that I see the Chamber of Commerce is here, is to work with the Chamber to see if we can get these market days restarted and get all our antique shops, our arts and craft shops, the restaurants, other places, and then bring more visitors into Floresville see our community spend some money here in town, increase our sales tax revenues, but it also helps the local businesses that are here. So, and then the other plan we continue to work on is the improvement of the downtown. Preservation of the downtown is important. Most of the visitors that I get from out of town, they comment on the fact of how good our downtown looks. It doesn't look that way by accident. It's a result of the people that are here, the business owners, the property owners, the city, FEDC, with some of the resources that we have. And as you know, we undertook a campaign to paint the facades, work on the awnings in the city. We're still working on the sidewalks. It's a little bit more complicated because we do have some drainage issues within the city. But these are all things that we're working on, we're continuing to work on. And these are things that keep businesses coming into town, visitors coming into town, and also enjoy what we have, but also, while they're here, hopefully they spend a little money and help the community and the business. And that plan continues. We're looking at it. We're working with an engineer on the sidewalks. How can, and when I talk about the sidewalks, there's issues with the sidewalks. If you look at some of the buildings, they're higher, the entrance is higher than what the sidewalk is. And that's the way they were built. Now, one of the things is to try to make all the sidewalks handicap accessible. So when if you're on a walker, you're in a wheelchair, be it motorized, you're being pushed, or you're wheeling yourself, you can actually go into a restaurant, you can go into a shop without a problem. So those are things we're looking at. On the threat side of the economic development, there were issues that would keep us from growing. I mentioned internet, that's one, continues to be a threat. Continue to look at it, how can we address that? Another issue was properties along the highway. And one of the things they cited in the report, and it's an issue that continues to be, that we're looking at, is most of the properties along the highway were originally zoned commercial. But through the years, then commercial switched to something else, and some even became residential. And some properties along the highway, the owners owned property, so they asked if they could put in, let's say, mobile homes, so they could do something else. At the time, it seemed like it's a good deal, why not? You know, if it's your property, you're gonna maintain it, you know, and it's a way to make money, why not do that? But through the years then, some of the maintenance didn't occur. And then we had, you know, some of the experts called it blight. I don't call it blight. It's a harsh word. I think it's just some properties were not maintained as they should have been. But then once you get to a certain point, and you know that in your own yard, if you don't keep your own yard going, after a while the weeds are going to overtake you. You know, it's going to be hard to get them back. So these are things we're working on, working with a lot of the property owners. Mayor mentioned Toyota, the Eagle Ford Shale, and those all things are factors that led to more growth in Floresville. But those really, if you stop to think about it, and those of you that have been longtime residents of Floresville know full well that Floresville has been growing for about 20, 30 years. And look at all the subdivisions that have grown around the city. And I think we have, the last count, 17 to 18 subdivisions around Floresville. A lot of it's to the north, you know, heading out toward 1604 and the county line with Bear County. Now, all that growth has been coming in here for a reason, and I believe that they've been coming here, not because we're on the verge of getting an HEB, a super Walmart, but I think because this is a good community to live in, quality of life has always been good. Just look at the surrounding, look at the landscape. It's a good landscape. It's a good picturesque area. You know, drive out in any direction, and it looks good. It looks nice. Why wouldn't you want to, you know, either bring a business or buy a home around it? But also, we have a great school system, I think. And I think we had a good school system when I was going to school here. I graduated in '68, and I see some of my classmates that are here. We didn't have the computers. We didn't have some of the other things that other bigger schools had. But if you look at the people that came out of Floresville, that came out of the school system, it's a good school system. You know, yeah, I didn't like it. Why good? You know, we can all point to different things, you know, about the faults of the school, but I think overall the schools are good. And the fact that the citizens voted for a bond issue, build a new high school, to upgrade the schools, majority of the people that came out, they voted for the school. And then the school was able to do some things under the leadership of its superintendent, the staff, the principals that it had, the school board. You gotta give the school board a lot of credit, because it's been almost basically about the same school board in the last 10 years or so. But they've been progressive enough and forward-looking enough that they're looking to the future of this community, of the kids that are here, and then what the high school can offer to businesses coming into the city. The fact that we do have a range of available colleges in the high school, that's a big enticement when I talk to businesses about coming to Floresville. So that's a good thing. But people come to the community, not because you have an HB, not because you have a Walmart. They come to the community because you have a good high school. We got a brand new medical system, the hospital here, the center. If you look at, you see new signs since Christmas. I've seen some signs saying new doctor, primary care doctor at this building or at that building. Those guys aren't here by accident either. So you got good schools, you got a good medical system. I believe you got good infrastructure in the city overall, and those are all things that will help us bring in more businesses into town. Now people say, well, okay, you talk a lot about new businesses coming into town, and the reports that I gave in the meetings that I have with my board, where are they? Economic development is not an event. It doesn't happen today. It's a process that takes a long time to evolve. It takes a long time for things to come here. I talk about weaknesses and threats to development. The weaknesses and threats that we have to economic development are, we don't have an interstate highway coming through the city. We don't have a railroad coming through the city. We don't have a waterway. We're not next to a coast or a good body of water that boats can come in and bring things or take things out of. So those are threats to the city. I was at a meeting with Representative John Kimple, and he said, well, what can I do to help your community to develop economically? And I said, well, sir, if you can help us get an interstate to Floresville, help us grow some hills like Fredericksburg, and then we might be able to go and succeed. But I think that with the resources that we have, we're doing, I believe, what we can to bring more businesses in. The Walmart didn't get here by accident. The HEB didn't get here by accident. Some of the businesses that are here are not here by accident either. True, we have a lot of help. I work with the local business owners. I work with the property owners. I work with the real estate agents. Working, hopefully a little bit better with the Chamber of Commerce in the coming year. And working with the city staff to ensure that I have the right information to provide to people that are looking to come to Floresville. And right now we have a lot of interest because of the Eagle Ford Shell, but also because the Super Walmart did locate here. And we're working with the property owners there to bring more businesses in and around the Super Walmart. The first thing you're going to see within the next few months is a Murphy gas station right next to the Walmart. Now normally those are, that used to be part of Walmart, but they broke away. Murphy's offers gas at a lower price normally than everybody else does. So I think that'll bring in new competition and hopefully lower the price of gas in the community, but also provide services. We thought we had a deal with Walgreens to come into the building where the school administration office were at the corner of 97 and 181. Developers, they bought the land, and then negotiations with Walgreens didn't go the way they thought they were going to go, so that deal's off. But the school already sold that property. They already made their money, and hopefully they're using it correctly within their system. But we're working with the developers to bring something into that corner right there. There's another group of developers out of Houston that are looking for property, and they're working with the county to buy property next to the Justice Center. And I think the county has 5 or 6 acres there. It's that empty piece of land. If you look at the location where the best bail bondman is and the Shell station, then there's an empty piece of land, and then you got the Justice Center. So there's a group from Houston trying to buy that property, and they'll be talking to people that are living in and around that area. That includes also I think the Greater Bethel Church that's there on 97. It's a prime piece of property. Well, I disagree with you, because I think that we have talked to you about that property.
I
And
that property.
I have brought people to see your property. And I have given you every number. I'm not gonna sit here and, get into a, he said,
I'm just telling you.
whatever with you, but we have worked with you. We have worked with you in different areas. And I've been very honest with you in all the discussions that I've had with you. And I've brought real estate agents to come see the property. Ray Lambert is another man that owns a lot of property in the city. We've given his number. We're meeting with the Hughes family on Monday morning. To talk to them again, and see, okay, how are they developing the property around the home? So I disagree with you, sir, but you can come see me and we can discuss it.
I want those numbers, those people too.
Say again?
I want those numbers to those developers.
I can get them to you, like I've done before. And I have talked to people that you have given me.
I want those numbers.
I have talked to them and called them.
I want those numbers.
Mr. Shorter, I'm not gonna waste these folks' time, but you can see me.
I'm just telling them who you are.
Okay.
Thank you, Colonel. Thank you. As the Colonel mentioned, there are so many positive things happening here in Floresville. It's a process, but we see it happening. We see the transformation happening right now in Floresville. It's going to continue to happen. We're going to talk about some of the things happening internally in the city. We're going to talk about our streets. We're going to talk about our sewer expansion that is so desperately needed, and we'll probably have something by midsummer. I'm going to turn it over to Andy to talk about some of those things.
Okay, water issues that we're addressing at this point in time, we've got a underwater service, tank cleaning service that's come in. They do our yearly maintenance of our water tanks. They've done that. They've cleaned out. They do a cleaning every other year or every year. They've just completed that. One thing that you're going to be seeing right away is the elevated water tower by the hospital, the new Walmart area, is going to get the cosmetics done, preventative maintenance, and then we're going to paint the Floresville emblem up there. One of the things that we're looking for is a slogan to put up there, and if you can go back to the initial one, this is one that's been presented. Honor in the past, changing the future to come in. We've been to several cities that have different ones. San Marcos has one that says, "We want your business." So if you've got any suggestions for that, we've got some cards left if you want to write something in there, and that'll be taking place. So you'll see the tent covering the elevated water storage tank, and that's what's happening right now. Street projects that we've done, I do this on the city manager's report at city council meetings. The last one that I've done is the Long Ridge Heights subdivision. We did a seal coating project that encompassed the whole neighborhood. Also, we did a seal coat project at East Heights area, right here by the Nurses in Touch area. Did a seal coat project there. One of the projects that we're working on currently is the South Third area. We're replacing water lines. We're doing some curbing areas there and drainage project. Also, we are doing the area of E Street at the end. There's some new homes back there. Really hadn't been a road, so we went ahead and paved that area. The projects that we are looking to do this coming year, major projects, are going to be the B Street from 181 as far close to the area of Fort that we can, and also Oak Lane area, which is something that has needed to be done. As we spoke, M&S Engineering is going to be doing something that hadn't been done for a number of years, a comprehensive plan, a master plan. That's something that citizens have been asking for that should have been done many years ago. We're compiling the existing information that's got up there. We're updating what needs to be updated, and that'll be presented to the council. We've given them a 4-month time frame, so March or April, we should get that in place and presented and available to the public. That's going to address our issue of our wastewater treatment plant, and I want to make sure that you understand that as long as we have plans in place for an expansion, that we're in compliance with TCQ, we will move forward on that as soon as possible.
Do you have any other questions?
What we've done, Judge, is we are working with the school district. They had a change in superintendent to work, a partnership with them to redo that road.
Yeah, but when that dam gets full like it did the other day, I was out there picking up trash that people threw on the side because it wouldn't fit in the bin. And I don't know why they didn't take it back home and save it for next time. But that street is terrible.
We'll have to visit with the school on the recycling program, but they've got it.
Move it someplace else.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Quick question.
Yes, sir.
Where does F Street fit in on the scheme? We live right across from Squeak, and that thing is heavily traveled and full of streets on the sides. You know, beer trucks, soda water trucks, you can't hardly get in and out of the driveway.
At the street?
The street house suites is gonna be on the other side, of the highway. So that's something that's gonna be, addressed. As it stated there, it's third priority at this point in time, but with the new master plan that's gonna be updated, those will be updated also. As soon as we get to that point that we're gonna start paving that, we will make that public.
Let me ask, was this meeting informative? Do we want to do this again?
Yes.
Any other question before we finish? Yes, ma'am.
The flooding on Third Street, the flooding on C Street.
C Street. Flooding on C Street.
Which portion?
Right in front of the bistro. Yeah, what again? Oh, like where the parking lot's at, like when people step out of their cars.
We can,
Yes, along the side of the
okay, we can take a look at that.
And there's drains, there's drains, and I basically clean out the drains. And I don't mind cleaning out the drains, but I'm just saying that there is, and I have put rails for my customers, because I've actually seen two people fall.
Mauro, can we look into that? Cleaning out of the drain.
I just,
Ms. Deegan?
I'm sorry, along the lines of drainage, without petition signs, and the people on J Street are very concerned about the ditch. It literally runs in front of Senator's home. And one lady said, if and when it does rain, she has to stand and look through this hole, that she is staying off the water. And I think it has to do with the Artesian issue and how that drainage.
Is that where the new homes were built at that time?
Across the street and down the block from this old field beef shop, a lot of the ladies who know that is, that it's a real, just ditch. She's very concerned.
Ms. Deegan, how do you feel about this meeting?
I don't think we got all the answers that we wanted. I think those who came wanting to hear what you had to say were pleased with what you said. I don't think we still got to the heart of the issue. I think, bottom line for me, complacency breeds a sense of entitlement. And when we do not, as citizens, come and speak at these meetings and participate in the budget process, this is what we get. And it's not a personal attack on you at all. It's not. I just think that if we're going to be concerned citizens, we need to be concerned citizens 365 days a year, not to.
Our budget meetings are open to the public.
I know, and we have failed to be there. I won't know, I can fail to
Open
be
to the
there.
public. And we welcome the opportunity. Come by anytime. Come to our
Just real quickly, if I can, you talked about master planning. I'm just wondering, and this is as a citizen, I mean, I know you know my professional capacity, but just as a citizen, are you going to engage the citizens in that master planning? Or are you just going to take the ideas from the consultant? I was very impressed because, I was involved in some city or town hall meetings in Livonia, and I thought they turned out really well because people were able to tell all of these things. Like you live in the city, I know, and you know your area of the city. The city knows her area of the
Right.
city, I know my area of the city, that kind of thing.
Good idea, good idea. Yes, sir.
Has brought up internet, and I think
Yes.
that's an issue probably affects everybody in this community.
Exactly.
Verizon's on record back in 2005, I believe it was, when they came here from Big Dog and Pony Quail, that they were
Actually,
going
it's
to bring
2006.
high-speed internet here, and that lasted about as long as the ink took to dry on the Wilson County News.
I agree.
They get 40 megabit on the north side of town. If you drive 20 miles up the road, they've got 10 megabit. And Phelps and, Stellaire is probably the best performing one. And then I still only get 2 meg, 2.5. In today's world, if I were looking to relocate a business, or if I was looking to move into a master plan community somewhere here in Wilson County, the fact that I'm essentially relegated to dial-up, to satellite, those would not be selling points. And
I agree.
as long as Verizon has no one goes and beats up the PUC in Austin to give the rights to give internet to somebody else, and Verizon refuses to give it to anybody else.
I agree. Wilson County is basically an island. Everybody around us is surrounded by, served by AT&T. We're serviced by Verizon. And we realize the weakness that we have because of it. Bernie faces the same situation. Bernie's in the same situation that we are in. So I acknowledge that, and the Colonel, we've been talking about that for about 5 years already. And thank you for bringing that up.
What does it take to change that?
Legislation, PUC, it's not an easy task. Colonel, you've investigated that,
Well, basically, Verizon doesn't want to cooperate or doesn't want to, work with the community. They own the rights, under the law. The way that Texas distributes out own areas. And we've had meetings here, we brought in Congressman Cuellar, Representative Tinkle, the elder, and we mentioned it to the new representatives. We've gone to Austin and talked about this. But as long as Verizon controls these areas, and there are a lot of other factors that determine why they don't want to give up. If they get certain, kind of, I don't want to call it a grant, but they get fees, to provide service for rural communities, for communities, away from the cities and towns. So there's a lot of factors. We've had a lot of meetings. The next best thing was we talked to Time Warner, and they were telling us anywhere from $1 million to $1.5 million to lay fiber optic. AT&T's fiber optic is right here. In fact, they had an easement on one of their properties that FTC owns. It runs right up and down the highway. Goes all the way down to the valley. But we can't access it, even though it's right here. The mayor had worked on this. We've had a lot of different players, so it's a difficult issue. Maybe it's something we ought to tackle again and see how we can get through it.
I guess a follow-up on that.
yes, sir.
Considering that what internet you can get is $50 more a month when everybody else is paying $29. I mean, imagine that for a lot of families in Floresville, they cannot afford to pay $60, $70, whatever for internet. Why don't we establish a free Wi-Fi zone over the downtown area, the courthouse, the businesses around downtown? That way kids can bring their laptops up, they can do their research, they can check their email, whatever they need to do, and it would drive like someone to open a sandwich
gentleman that suggested the Wi-Fi downtown is an incredible opportunity that really needs to be investigated and looked into. To get the teenagers downtown, a coffee shop, a sandwich shop, someplace for them to go in the evening, because as we know here in Floresville, there's not a whole lot to do in the evening that's safe and sane. So I really recommend that.
I have to agree with you. Our
If you
downtown
look
is
at the
beautiful.
downtown area, it's
Do we have the
awesome.
pictures from 5 years ago? How downtown looked 5 years ago? Where do we have those posts, those banners?
I will tell you, I've been down for a couple of parades, and I am just so overwhelmed, and I know this sounds like a cheerleading thing, but I am so overwhelmed with community support here that downtown isn't flourishing much better than it is. I love the city center. I think it's a wonderful opportunity for the city to grow and offer that to people coming in, but the downtown has just got to be where it's got to grow.
Yes, downtown is the heart of Floresville.
Well, and it's very easy, we answer the phone at the UPS store, and people go, oh, are you downtown by the HEB?
Downtown.
That's where you need to focus. You need to tell them it's not downtown, it's, they're two totally different entities.
We have great business along 181, but the people who live here in Floresville, I think they come more to the downtown area. That's our jewel. That's the heart of our community is downtown. We have the courthouse and so much history right here in the downtown area.
And it needs to be explored, and like I said, I would really like to see, there was kind of a rumor mill going around that certain events were going to be pulled from the downtown area at one time in the spring, and it really bothered me, because that's where it started. That's where ancestors of Floresville had developed it.
What you
And,
are referring to?
There was a petition at the parade, at the Peanut Festival, that you were looking to move it, and it really broke my heart to even think that that was an opportunity out there that may have been explored at one point.
I'll speak my opinion.
The Peanut Festival.
In my opinion, this is strictly not a reflection of the city council, but the Peanut Festival needs to stay downtown.
Absolutely.
It might never be as big as a Poteet. It might never be big as, some other festivals in the area, but this is what we want, the downtown, the small town feel. So that's my opinion. Yes, sir.
Danny, you think we can get a mailbox put back downtown?
Yes.
Post office?
Okay. Okay. What do we need to do? Okay. Maybe we can talk to our congressman about that.
There you go.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
I just have, on the internet service, I do offer 2 ports, because that's all I can do for my customers, which are nothing but the oil field guys. And they come like at 4 o'clock, because they gotta finish their reports.
Okay.
And they're drinking tea and coffee, but I always go over my usage, but I would need to provide service for them, which I don't make a profit because I'm going over my usage, because they're buying a cup of coffee, but they need to do the reports. They need to, because they're saying that there's no service. So if there was something around downtown, like an internet, so that would be great.
Any other questions before we close off? And the coffee's still here and the donuts are still here. We can just, yes, sir.
Mayor, I might be in a meeting, but I've got 9 cemeteries to worry about.
For those who don't know, this is Mr. Russell. He's our chairman of the Cemetery Association. Thank you very much. Thanks for being here. There's coffee, there's